Hey-o, welcome everybody to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show, coming to you live from Happy Valley. We're at State College's Quaker Steak Lube, as we always are. An excellent place to come out all throughout one of the best weekends in sports coming up this weekend, gentlemen. First weekend of the NCAA March Madness tournament. Plus, the reason Ironhead is not here today, Nationals for Collegiate Wrestling, Penn State looking to capture yet another team national championship. So you can hear Ironhead bring you that on the radio or via gopsusports.com. Quaker Steak Lube is the place to come out, enjoy some wings, some beers, some basketball, and some wrestling.
Just think about Thursday. Basketball started at noon.
Yeah.
Wrestling starting at 11 a.m.
Yep.
The last basketball game kicks off at like 11:30 at night. That's a shift you could put in.
I think after everything we have endured as a nation the last 2 years, I think Biden should declare 48 hours of federal holiday.
I think you're right. Absolutely right. This is the best time of the year.
Like do the reverse of quarantine. You're not allowed in your home. You must be out.
Correct. Yes. So, welcome everybody. Chris Buchanani, Keith the Goon Conlon joining us as our special guest. Mike the Mailman.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite shows of the year.
Watching
Every March,
Mike
Ironhead is out at the Wrestling Nationals. Goon and I bring in Mailman, who is something of a sharp, low-key, and we go through the NCAA bracket region by region. We make our picks, and we should point out, I would be remiss if I did not mention that last year, despite all three of us, as happened with most of America, making an absolute train wreck of our brackets, one man still managed to make it through to the Final Four with 75% of his picks intact. And that is not just a man, a mailman.
Mailman.
I got lucky. You get lucky once in a while.
Once in a while, you do it every year.
Okay, I'm trying to.
Now, Booch, what is the key? What is the key to Mike's success?
So last year, you and I learned our lesson. We were in here. We had like spreadsheets,
we had
iPads, and all that.
tablets.
Mike the Mailman came in with this, the Altoona mirror. Okay, like this is just cut out of the
What's funny to me is it's
So
vertical.
this year, look at
It's
this.
a vertical. It
Yeah.
should be,
I know.
That's how old school Mike is. He prints vertical.
I love it.
So
Good stuff.
you can tell Mike and I are both getting old because we both had to bring our reading glasses along for this episode. But we'll go region by region. I do want to pat myself on the back. Despite the complete mess of my bracket last year, I did have Baylor going all the way.
That's good.
They won the title. So we'll see if we can't do worse this year than we did last year. Let's start it right off.
I do have a question.
Go for it.
I mean, the committee, the overall committee, the committee that the March Madness committee, they must love the Big Ten because there's 9 Big Ten teams in the tournament.
They always do.
My question is, Iowa won the Big Ten tournament, and yet they're a 5th seed. That part I don't get at all.
I'm convinced that they had already filled their brackets in before the end of that tournament. Absolutely, they did.
Then I think the Big Ten should maybe change their times of their final tournament, final round. You're right. It's right close to when they have their
The Big Ten is the last game, and it goes right into the show. So they had a slot ready, but
I like that theory.
where was Purdue at? Where was Purdue slotted?
Yeah, that's a good point. They're a 3 seed. And so, man, that's
Purdue is.
I think they're a 3 seed. Yeah.
Now, body of work, Mike.
Purdue's a 3 and Iowa's a 5.
That's going to be their excuse.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised no one asked them because they obviously love the Big Ten, but I don't think the Big Ten was the best conference this year.
It was last year, and they all got bounced within the first 2 days. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember, how good the Big Ten was going into last year's tournament, and they got completely embarrassed they were all out before the end of the first weekend.
Well, I think that was one place where we all kind of agreed. If I remember, we were not any of us too bullish on the Big Ten going into the last year's tournament. You were more. Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I got murdered.
Let me just ask you before we get into the regions. How do you guys feel about the conference in general? Top to bottom, Big Ten. What do you think about Big Ten's chances in the tournament this year?
I like them. I don't like the fact that Michigan got in. I don't think they deserve to get in.
We'll talk about that.
I don't understand why they
sure.
even got in. But then Indiana has a play-in game. I think I know Indiana didn't have a great year, but the way Michigan ended, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, they always talk about how you end your season. They do that for sure football. I'm sure they do the same in basketball. But Purdue, Michigan lost on the last 6 games.
Yeah. And then we're rewarding Juwan Howard for his actions in the preseason or in the midseason.
Clearly, that's the way it works, man.
I mean, okay, I don't mind that they're in, but I mean, the fact that they're ahead of the Indiana team who has to do a play-in game, it's a little too much if you ask me.
Well, I am going to bring the bracket up so anybody who is actually watching on the screen at home can see the regions as we're going through them. But we are going to start in the upper left-hand corner and work our way around.
Is it the vertical left-hand corner or
the horizontal? No, we're using horizontal. We're going horizontal.
Mike's completely done right now. Mike can't read it.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay, so Mike the Mailman,
Yes.
Keith Goon Conlon, let's start it off. First game in the upper left-hand corner, we've got Gonzaga versus Georgia State, the 1-16. Obviously, all three of you have Gonzaga.
That's correct.
That's what
Including myself. Okay, so moving on down. Okay, in these 8-9 matchups are always interesting to me. I like this one because if you're an NBA follower of a certain age, you remember the golden age of the Orlando Magic while Shaq was still there and a young Penny Hardaway got them into the conference finals a couple of times, one trip to the NBA finals, never won a title together. But we've got Anthony Hardaway's Memphis team, the 9 seed playing Boise State. Goon, who you got?
Yeah, Boise in the upset. Not really the upset, but it's like an 8-9 match.
Sure,
so it's very
yeah,
evenly
yeah.
matched. I don't know. I watched Memphis versus Houston the other day, and Houston ran them off the court. I mean, Memphis had a shot late, and they were tight, but then Houston just ran away with it. I didn't like how Memphis was acting. They were doing hard fouls, and they were doing stupid fouls, and I didn't like the team.
Okay.
So let's go Boise.
I have Boise State. I like the football field. I like the good football.
This is good.
So,
This is good. So, yeah, just to be clear,
Oh, that's great.
if you try to watch the games and internalize a lot of analysis and pick based on the quality of the team and the personnel, it will be a complete
Yes.
S.
No
show
knowledge needed.
trying to do that.
That's right.
So I think I am with you guys.
Really?
As many picks as I can make based on no information on the teams, the better. Again, I always like Penny Hardaway, so I'm taking Memphis.
Wow.
Okay. All right, good.
So 2 for Boise, 1 for Memphis. Moving on down. Now, this is, I think, actually one of the more intriguing 5-12 matchups that features always one of the most interesting teams come tournament time. That's UConn, the 5 seed, and they are facing New Mexico State. Always look at the 5-12 for a potential upset. Do you have one here, Mike the Mailman?
I do not. I like UConn. That home team are always good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like UConn as well. Goon,
Looking at my
3 for 3.
brochure, at my bracket here, I have not one upset in the 5-12 matchups. I have 5 advancing in all.
You know what? To spoil it a little bit, I don't think the 5-12s are as compelling as they normally are. I think I'm with you. I might have one.
I'm not happy about Iowa being a 5. Obviously, we talked
Right?
about
Yeah.
that, but
Okay.
that's in the bottom right quadrant.
Okay. So now we've got Penn State's nemesis from the bowl game this year, the Arkansas Razorbacks. They're the 4 seed in the what region is this?
West.
The West.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. And they are taking on Vermont, the Catamounts, I believe. What do you think, Goon?
The Catamounts they've stirred up a hornet's nest in the last 10, 15 years, if I recall, and they've been there before, but I don't think they're sneaking up on anybody, so I got Arkansas advancing.
Yeah, I have Arkansas because I think it's the best basketball conference this year. I like that.
But the SEC, huh?
The SEC has a lot of high seats this year.
They do.
Like, it is not just, Kentucky and the rest.
But it
Sure.
could
This season.
be the same thing as the Big Ten last year, not being overrated, and they just get completely run out of the court.
Well, I will tell you, I'm going to differ with you guys because you've got to pick a few Cinderellas
Sure.
to just get hot and shoot the lights out. And again, basing it not on the team, but on things like history or personal connections. I got a good friend who's a Vermont alum and always talks about the Catamounts. I've got Vermont pulling the upset over Arkansas in the first round.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So now that play-in game
Oh, yeah.
for this region, really interesting. Let's start there because the 11 seed will be decided by the winner of Rutgers versus Notre Dame. I think kind of a little bit of a slap in the face to Rutgers, in my opinion, that they're in the play-in game. But here they are.
Personally, I
The
think
Scarlet Knights versus
that's
the
where
Fighting Irish.
That's where Michigan should be, in my opinion.
100%.
It should be Michigan playing Notre Dame.
If you're going to put a Big Ten team in a play-in game, it should have been Michigan.
I think the ACC is horribly overrated, so I will take Rutgers in this game.
Yep.
Same reason. I'm saying that's why I'm taking Rutgers also. I think the Big
God,
Ten's
I'm
better than
agreeing
ACC.
with Mike Gray. Way too much right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got Rutgers. Upsetting Alabama. So I've actually got 2 SEC upsets.
You have Rutgers over Bama. So
I do.
I was saying Bama is going to beat Rutgers.
Okay, so you have Rutgers winning the play-in.
I had Alabama
But you
winning,
have Alabama winning
the matchup.
Okay. Mike, what do you?
I have Alabama winning also.
I'm telling you guys are nuts. Ron Harper Jr. going to blow it up.
Okay. I hope you're right.
I got Rutgers. Okay. Texas Tech versus Montana State. Mike the Mailman, who you got?
By far, Texas Tech. That's one of my big things.
Yeah, I like Texas Tech also.
So do I. You guys have ties to all these different schools. You can somehow make a connection somehow.
I have an NIL deal with Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Away from Penn State has one.
Ooh.
Okay, so here we go. Michigan State always figures out a way to turn it on come tournament time.
True that.
No Steph Curry on Davidson this year, the 7-10 matchup. Who you got?
Michigan State. Yeah, you're right. I like it this time.
Sparty?
I got Sparta this time of year, but it would not be surprised if Davidson pulls the upset.
Michigan State is one of those teams that I feel could go either way this year. They could get hot and go on a run,
Sure.
or they could get bounced in the first
Or they could be a
round.
15-2 matchup and get popped out of the 10 years ago.
Yeah, because
That's right.
you know what?
Remember that
Like,
game.
hey, some of these legendary coaches, which of course we're going to talk about with this tournament, with Krzyzewski playing his last
Still-
dance, as they go on, don't you feel like they become more susceptible to those big upsets? Like 1990s Duke was never going to lose to Lehigh. You know, they might not always have a great year. They might not win the title. They're not just going to get totally run off the court by a team that has no business playing with them. And then as you get older, I don't know. You know, you start to slip a little bit. So who knows? I wouldn't be shocked to see Davidson win it. But yeah, I've got Michigan State winning as well. And speaking of the Dukies, they're taking on Cal State Fullerton in the 2-15 matchup. We all have Duke.
Correct.
Okay, so let's keep working our way through this region then. Goon, who do you have coming out, appearing in the Sweet 16 out of the matchup that includes Gonzaga versus either Boise or Memphis?
I got Gonzaga
Okay.
beating Boise.
I like Gonzaga also.
Okay, and who do you guys have on the other side of that matchup?
And Arkansas beating UConn.
Okay. All right.
I have UConn there.
And my first upset is Texas Tech upsetting Bama.
Okay. All right.
I also like Texas Tech.
Yeah, in retrospect, when I filled this out, I probably should have gone with Texas Tech because I like them also. But, you know, whatever. I'm sticking with what I wrote in pencil. I've got Gonzaga versus UConn, and I've got Rutgers versus Michigan State in the Sweet 16. So who do you guys have winning between Sparty and the Blue Devils?
Blue Devils.
Blue Devils also.
Me and Mike had the same exact. How do you? This thing filled in.
I got it.
I am totally fading Duke in this tournament. I think they have been a massive disappointment down the stretch. I can't get that loss to North Carolina out of my head. They
Did you watch the
disappointed
Bobcat
in
game?
the last home game.
It's an easy way to get over that bad loss. Watch an even worse loss.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. And then they disappoint again in the conference tournament. I think Izzo bounces them out, and that's that for Coach K. I don't even think you see him in the second weekend. Okay.
I got Duke losing to Texas Tech though next round.
Okay. Well, that was going to be my next question.
Yep.
Your Elite Eight teams, you have Texas Tech and
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga. Yep, I've got Gonzaga versus Michigan State. And coming out of the region, who you have?
Gonzaga. Ooh.
Ooh. Really? You feeling good about the Red Raiders, huh?
I like that.
Yeah, I've got Gonzaga coming out of the region too. I'll be honest with you, I don't love Gonzaga. I've talked about this before. Everybody wants me to buy them as a title contender. I don't, but I think their path is pretty friendly. Again, Mike, I do like Texas Tech. I wouldn't be stunned if they get that far, if they get it in the game with the Zags, if they nip them. But okay, so we've got two of us have Gonzaga, the 1 seed, coming out of the West region, and Mike has Texas Tech. As you know, I mean, a mild surprise. I feel like if the top one of the top 3 seeds comes out, that's not a huge upset.
Top 3. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
first disagree with Mike.
Okay.
I had Texas Tech.
There'll be other ones down the road who would disagree. That's for sure.
Okay.
Now go to the East, right?
So I was going to say, do you want to go to the East or you want to go across the bracket to the South? Go East.
We'll go East.
Mike, you're the guest. You call.
Let's go East.
Okay, so the 116 matchup in the East, the defending national champion Baylor Bears versus Norfolk State. We're all taking Baylor, of course.
Very
Okay,
high scoring affair.
now, man, these 8-9s are killer. They're really interesting. North Carolina versus Marquette.
I took Marquette just because of Tommy Boy.
Carolina. Just because of the tradition.
I like North Carolina to make a little mini run here. So, yeah, I got the Tar Heels as well. Play-in game in this round has another Big Ten team, Indiana versus Wyoming. Goon?
Who do I have winning that game?
Yes, sir.
It would be Indiana, but it doesn't really pick. I have to circle who I pick.
No, okay, no, I'm just curious.
I'll take Indiana.
You think Indiana can pull it out?
I like the Hoosiers. Yep.
Yeah, I do not. I've got Wyoming. But then they will face, winner of that game faces the 5 seed St. Mary's. Who do you have winning that?
St. Mary's.
I also have St. Mary's. And they're my pick in my survivor pool for the first day.
3 for 3.
Yeah, they're good.
So you know.
UCLA versus Joe Moorhead's Akron.
I went to UCLA and watched them over this past weekend. They're pretty good.
Yeah, obviously Joe Moorhead's a new head football coach. But when I think of the Zips now, I'll always think of Joe Moorhead. All right, so now talking about Virginia Tech, the hot team facing Shaka Smart, the Texas Longhorns, 6-11 in the East. Mike the Mailman, you have.
The Longhorns. I like Texas. I still think that's a good conference.
Okay, and Goon?
I took the ACC winning Virginia Tech.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. The
I think
hot
that's a
hand.
bad- again, they won. I don't understand why they're ranked so low. I know they didn't have, but they won the freaking ACC tournament.
Well, and how about, Shaka's not been a great fit in Austin. So, yeah, I think when I look at teams that I think could get bounced early, I have Virginia Tech coming in on the hot streak. I like the Hokies there. Now, my favorite bracket ruining Big Ten team that I hate so much for ruining so many of my brackets over the years, the Purdue Boilermakers, a former number 1 team in the country, now a 3 seed, taking on the Yaleys. Who do you have winning that matchup, guys?
I got Purdue.
We going 3 for 3 on the Boilermakers
Yep.
there. Yeah, I think.
I watched Yale. They upset Princeton to get into it. So, I mean, they're a good team. But
Sure.
they're
Yeah.
Purdue,
You got to watch those Ivy League.
they have a 7'9" kid on their team. You know, it's ridiculous how big that dude is.
7 foot.
No, what is 7'4"?
Okay.
Or Purdue is amazing.
Yeah.
That guy's really good.
He's cornered the market on anybody over 7'2", by the way.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah.
for 100%. Yeah, that and lights out 3-point shooter who looks like he's 48 years old.
Oh,
Sure
yeah.
that.
Number 55? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's good. They have a lot. I like Purdue. They're a nice team.
They do. I like them too.
All right,
So they'll
gentlemen.
be out in the second round.
The 7-10 in the East is Murray State, the 7 seed versus San Francisco.
This is my baby.
I like Murray State. Because, I can remember in the NIT game when Penn State played at Rick Hall.
Dude, Murray State can ball, man. I watched them play
Yep.
twice last week, and they can freaking run, man.
They are.
Yeah, with all due respect
I
to
actually
Bill
have Murray
Russell,
in the
I got
eight.
Murray State.
Very nice.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
they're my little dark horse gold. I thought that Mike would have. He says he has a dark horse team, and I thought that would be it.
No.
It's still not it.
I
Texas Tech and Murray State.
like Texas Tech. I like Texas Tech.
Okay, Kentucky versus St. Peter's, the 2-15. We all got the Wildcats there?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so now I am going to lead off. I'm going to give you my Sweet 16, and then I'll go to you guys. I have North Carolina facing UCLA, and I have Purdue versus Kentucky. Mike?
You're down here? Yeah, UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I have UCLA winning there also.
Okay. Who do you have winning Baylor, North Carolina?
Baylor.
Okay.
But he picked Marquette. No, you didn't. You picked North
No,
Carolina.
you picked Marquette.
I picked Marquette, yes.
Okay, sorry.
I wrote mine down. Mine's not an erasable marker like Mike said.
And then who you got in the other two spots?
The other two?
Purdue,
Definitely Purdue, yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Purdue and Kentucky.
So you have Kentucky.
Okay, so
beat
Mike and I
Maryland.
are the same, except you have Baylor winning the matchup with North Carolina. I have the Tar Heels advancing to the Sweet 16. Goon, who do you
I
got?
got Baylor over UCLA
Okay.
and Purdue over Mary. Oh, excuse me. Purdue over Virginia
Murray
Tech.
State.
I'm one ahead. Sorry.
Okay, but you have Murray
Baylor
State
beating
over
I
Kentucky.
had Baylor beating Marquette, UCLA beating St. Mary's, Purdue beating Valtech, Mary beating Kentucky.
That would be a huge,
That's a huge
upset.
one. And then
Yeah,
I have
sure
Mary
is.
also beating Purdue the next one.
So you're talking about the Elite Eight, right?
Yes.
I have Baylor and Purdue.
I know you like Purdue, don't you?
I've liked them all.
Yeah.
I
mean,
saw them play live. I said, wow, those guys are really good.
they've got, so Purdue's got like at least 3 guys who will or at least can legitimately play in the NBA.
Yeah, when I saw them at the Jordan Center this year, I said, wow, all those guys,
Which
they have size and they have shooters, which is what you need.
theoretically ought to be enough to get you at least to the Elite Eight.
So Mary State.
At least.
Mary State jumps them.
But Goon loves Murray State. Okay, and I have UCLA versus Kentucky in the Elite Eight. I have Kentucky coming out of the East region. Goon, who do you have?
I have Baylor beating
You have
Mary
Baylor.
State.
Okay.
So I have 2-1s.
Mike, you still riding Purdue all the way to the Final Four?
Probably, yeah. You got to wait and see. Let's tease the audience. Let's wait and see.
All right. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's tease the audience with a break, and we'll come back and do the other side of the bracket. Stay with us here on the Line Country Kia Goon Ironhead.
The leap of faith. Some hesitate, but not you. You don't ask what if. You embrace what's next with open arms. You don't question your decision. You double down. Because you know the thrill is worth it. Introducing the 2022 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
Hi, Johnny Broom here. If you're in the market for a new Hyundai or a pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, nobody beats a Blaze Alexander deal. But don't take my word for it.
Hey, Goon says tell him Johnny sent you.
Hey, tell him Johnny sent ya.
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Wait, tell him Juan or tell him Johnny sent you?
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Here at Bill Pickles Tap Room, we say,
tell him Johnny sent you.
And remember,
Hey, yo, we are back here on the Line Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show, coming to you live from Quaker Steak Lube in State College. Chris Bucanani filling in for Jeff the Ironhead Byers, who is already on his way to Detroit for the NCAA Nationals in wrestling. I'm joined by my running mate, Mike the Mailman, legendary campus icon and bracket picker extraordinaire, and former Penn State offensive lineman Keith Goon Conlon. So to summarize, guys, we have gone through the left side of the bracket, and I have Gonzaga and Kentucky in the Final Four, with Kentucky emerging from that matchup, by the way. Goon, you picked, who'd you have, Gonzaga and Baylor?
I have Gonzaga and Baylor.
Okay, and who do you have winning in that game?
I have Gonzaga.
Okay.
In a upset, not an upset, but a revenge game.
Okay, very good. And Mike the Mailman, you're keeping it a mystery until the end.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you can read his writing.
Yeah, he'll be lucky if he can remember.
He wrote in Braille.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's go over. Shall we do the South region next, gentlemen?
Mike,
by the way,
that's the top
full
right.
disclaimer. Whatever any of us pick, other than Mike the Mailman, just go in the opposite direction. You'll be in great shape. So the fact that Goon just went all in on Murray State is probably a sign that you should do the exact opposite. Pick them to lose in the first round. Okay, South Region 116 matchup. Arizona. Nice to see, by the way, Mike, the Arizona basketball program recover from like a long, like decade-plus swoon.
Yeah.
They're one of those programs that I feel like college basketball is better when Arizona's good.
Yeah.
So I think it's been good to see them competitive again. We all have them advancing to the next round.
Yep.
No UVA. Goon.
I have Arizona.
Okay.
I am.
Stone-faced.
I'm trying to think when, like,
The last time they were good?
I mean, Miller got fired from there, so they were under some. Is Miller still coaching? No, right? He got fired.
Yeah.
So they really cleaned the program out and started afresh because they've had more than one or two different allegations and violations, right?
Yeah. Those Arizona schools.
And it wasn't like
having a lot of problems right now.
And it wasn't like they were like it was like 3 different coaching staffs doing it at that. So yeah.
You know, maybe we ought to look into how Arizona State got so good at hockey and wrestling so fast. A little
Imagine that.
suspicious.
Where the whole West
Little
recruits from.
suspicious.
No one else plays. No one else does it out there.
Okay. The 8-9, I think another good 8-9 matchup. I really like these this year. Seton Hall versus TCU.
Correct.
I got Seton Hall winning that one. Mike the Mailman, who do you got?
Seton Hall also. Yep.
I got the TCU.
Oh,
Horned Frogs.
Little Horned Frogs action.
My buddy's a TCU fan, so I got to root for him.
Okay. All right. So now we got Houston versus UAB, and another one of these, I think, not that exciting 5-12s. I've saw a couple people picking UAB to pull the upset here, but I've got Houston.
I have Houston also. Yep.
Kelvin Sampson can coach, man.
Yeah.
He really can.
Yeah, I think we're 3 for 3 on
He's
the
got some
Cougs.
horses, so Houston advances. Again,
All right.
I don't have any 5-12 upsets.
Another
You know.
Big Ten team rears its head here in the regions 4-13. Illinois versus Chattanooga. Anybody else not pick the Illini?
The Illini are my survivor pool picks for Friday.
Okay, very good. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the 6-11 because this is the Rams of Colorado State, who I honestly know very little about. I think I maybe watched them play once this year, versus Michigan, who, arguably doesn't even belong in this tournament, let alone in a non-play-in game situation. Like, again, it stinks for Rutgers that they had to play into an 11-seed in Michigan.
I'm with you. I'm not happy about Michigan getting in at all. I actually have Colorado State beating them.
So,
I like the Rams. Yeah, I like the Rams.
okay, so my theory about why Michigan is in is because of all the bad publicity. It's brand, obviously. Brand always helps. But all the bad publicity around Juwan Howard, I think, gives fans a great villain to root against. And I think that factored into the decision to put him in. That puts eyeballs on the screen because people are going to Michigan fans will always watch, and then everyone else will watch to root against Michigan. And my theory that in sports, those who deserve success least are often rewarded with it. So I have the Wolverines upsetting the Rams, even though they shouldn't even be in the tournament. Teams, historically, there's always one team that doesn't deserve to be there, and they go on a run.
Colorado State.
Yes. So
And I wouldn't be surprised if they advanced to the Sweet 16 either. You know what I mean?
Well, stay tuned.
I know.
Okay, so now in the next matchup in that region, we got the 3-seed Tennessee versus number 14 Longwood. I think we all got the Vols there.
We do. Yep.
All right.
Sure. Tennessee.
Okay, so this is one of the hairiest picks in the whole tournament, in my opinion. The South region, 7-10, the Buckeyes of Ohio State versus the Cinderella darling of America, Loyola Chicago.
Is the nun still alive?
As far as I know. Yeah.
The nun will be there?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Can't go against the nun. Got to go loyal.
I want OSU. I didn't know the nun was still living.
So
it's a great story, though, isn't it?
It's amazing.
It's really cool.
And my heart would have me pick Loyola. But Ohio State is another one of these hot, cold Big Ten teams. And again, just looking ahead a little bit, I see the potential that the committee set up.
Big Ten can play to their potential, they will all advance.
You could see a Sweet 16 that pits Michigan versus Ohio State. I have that at least potential moving forward into the round of 32. I got Ohio State beating Loyola, And number 2, Villanova, taking on the Blue Hens, the 15 seed Delaware. I got the Wildcats.
And also, Wildcats, yep, I like Villanova. Good team.
So don't let Villanova have them winning this game.
This is the most interesting region to me. A ton of interesting teams.
And it's in Pittsburgh.
Ton of compelling matchups. Local, exactly. I think Arizona is a really good story this year. I think Illinois and Houston, that is
That's
ridiculous
a hell of a second round
matchup. Yeah, I can't believe you're going to see those two teams in the second round. Tennessee's interesting. Villanova. I mean, this is the best region.
Okay.
So let's do our Sweet 16. Goon, who do you have?
I have Arizona beating the Horned Frogs of TCU to get to the 16.
Okay.
Likewise.
I have Houston losing to the Illini. So the Illini advancing.
Okay.
I like it.
I have Tennessee advancing over Colorado State, Michigan winner. And I have Villanova beating Ohio State.
Okay.
Same thing for me.
Exactly the same. Okay. So to review that, you got Zona, Houston, and Tennessee, and Nova. Is that right?
Houston, Tennessee, Nova.
Okay. So here's mine. I've got Arizona and Houston as well. We are serially just dogging the Big Ten every year. So we got Illinois getting bounced in the second round. But again, I think that's what happens. So I do have that Wildcats Cougars matchup. 2 angry cats versus each other. Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Michigan, Ohio State in the other matchup in the Sweet 16. I think Michigan, again, so richly does not deserve to be there. They will be rewarded with success, so they knock off Tennessee. And Ohio State, look, I don't think Ohio State is going to beat Villanova, but the chance to match Michigan and Ohio State up is too good to pass up.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, okay. So Elite 8, Mike the Mailman, who do you have?
I have Arizona and Villanova.
Okay. And who do you have winning that matchup?
Arizona.
Okay, so you have Arizona in the Final Four. I do also. I have Arizona beating Michigan to get into the Final Four.
Jeez. I got Tennessee versus Villanova.
Okay.
With Tennessee winning. Arizona Illini with Arizona winning. And in the
No, you said you had Houston.
I did not have Houston. I have the Illini.
Oh, okay. So you're the only one who didn't pick Houston. Okay, go this way. Sorry.
I got Arizona Illini, Tennessee Villanova, Tennessee versus Zona in the Elite 8.
Yep.
Tennessee winning to go to the final.
Wow. Okay.
There you
All right. So Mike and I have Arizona, and you have Tennessee.
Yeah, I had 2 1s on the left, and I'm very wide open on the right side. Quit looking at it, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Look, and just to be clear, I don't think Ohio State is very good this year. I really don't. Because who cares what my bracket says? I thought it would be cool if Michigan plays Ohio State. I will be very, very surprised if Ohio State's good enough to get these Sweet 16.
You didn't mention the fact that Penn State beat them. It's always fun to mention.
Mike,
Penn
it is a
State beats them.
new era of Penn State basketball. And in respect for that, and respect for the effort they put forward in the tournament, I am retiring my if you lose to Penn State, you can't go past the second round.
That's
It's
not what I'm saying.
retired?
It's for this year.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
It's Tom Brady retired.
I'm saying anytime Penn State beats Ohio State, you should announce it.
That's fair. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Happy with that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. All right. So last region, the Midwest, Kansas, another traditional power. It's like kind of surprising with the amount of attrition you had at the top of the polls this year. Look, you end up with Gonzaga, Kentucky, Kansas, and Arizona as your 1 seeds, right? Like that. I feel like
Baylor.
Or Baylor. Yeah. I'm sorry. I feel like at any time during the last decade, at least 2, probably 3 of those teams could have been 1 seeds.
You're right.
Right. So okay. I think we all have Kansas winning that. And I don't. The play-in game in this region is Texas Southern versus Texas A&M, community college. I don't even know what the CC is. Who cares? They're going to lose.
Yes.
Okay.
They'll win or lose.
Right. Okay. And
8-9 San Diego.
San Diego
Creighton.
State versus Creighton. Another good one.
Yes.
Who you got?
I like Creighton's coach. I think he's a mean Nick, so I enjoy that. I enjoy the way he plays, and They scored 18 points in the first half against Villanova the other day. I've never seen that low scoring in the first half, other than a Penn State game. But they really took it on the second half. They gave Villanova a hell of a game. So I like Creighton. They're playing pretty well right now. So I took Creighton.
I like Creighton also.
I like San Diego State.
It's going to be a low scoring game.
I do like the style of play of Creighton. I'm with you. And I think like San Diego State is like a really interesting contrast to that. So I've got them advancing. But, spoiler alert, I have whoever wins losing to Kansas in the second round. Iowa-Richmond, another 5-12.
I like Iowa. I think Iowa's, even though they're a 5 seed, I think they're in the right bracket to advance a little bit. I think in the right side of the bracket to advance. I think Iowa's a nice player.
I historically would not take teams like Tennessee and Iowa because they just played 4 games in a row in the Big Ten and the SEC title game, and that scares the living hell out of me. But not this year. I just feel Iowa, man, they can shoot the living daylights out of that ball. I mean, it's unbelievable what they can do. And they got a great inside game, too. So I got Iowa advancing to the Final Four, to be honest with you. That's just my high school routine coming out of me. So Fran McCaffrey's from the South High, so I got to root for that. It goes against everything I've ever said. Is the team who wins the ACC? They suck in the game. The Big Ten title sucks, and the SEC they win. They got to play the tournament, and they only have 4 days rest. Where teams who lose earlier got 7, 8, 9 days rest. So
you just brought up what I was going to ask you guys about with regard to Iowa.
Fran McCaffrey being a little South High School grad,
yes,
sure.
They were so hot. Like, do you feel like, number one, I feel like sometimes, when you're watching a multi-game series in Major League Baseball, and one day the team just cranks out like 18 runs.
This is the team we were waiting to see. This is the team, yeah.
And then like the next day they're going to lose 2-1, right? So it's just like they have all that gas in the tank and they just burn through it. So I worry about that effect. And again, I worry about them being a little just worn out.
I'm also wondering whether coaches say, well, maybe it's better to lose in the conference format.
I've thought of that. I mean,
I have often thought about that.
We talk about it in wrestling. I mean, is it okay that Penn State did not win the Big Ten? I mean, honestly, it's a coaching point to me that, they can just hammer that home for the next 10 days. You don't think Mike Krzyzewski's hammering his guys about losing into Virginia Tech and being ready for the upstart kids coming in? Yeah. He's a great coach. He's going to do it for a reason. But I just think that I'm just going opposite what I normally do.
Fair. Okay. So in the 4-13 matchup in that bracket, Providence versus South Dakota State. I've got Providence. You guys the same?
I like the coach. He's a fun guy. He did a good interview on Fox Sports.
Yes, he was pretty funny.
It was fun. It was really good. I like him.
And in honor of God Shamgod, I shall go for the
Very good.
Friars.
If I remember correctly, when Penn State went on its Sweet 16 run in 2001, of course, everyone remembers them beating North Carolina in the second round. I think it was Providence they beat in the first round.
With God Shamgod?
I'm pretty sure. I do not think God Shamgod.
God Shamgod was not there.
Okay, Iowa State taking on LSU. The Tigers, the 6 seed. The Cyclones, the 11. Mike the Mailman, who you got?
I have LSU on that one.
I got Iowa State because LSU's in complete cluster F mode right now, firing their coach last week for allegations of wrongdoing. I don't think that they're going to be ready to play. Their mind to be elsewhere, and Iowa State's going to jump them.
I agree. I am with you. I've got the Cyclones.
So you know what that means? Load up on LSU.
Absolutely. Yes. 100%.
Absolutely load up against Iowa and against.
We're trying to make some money here, right?
It's 100%. Yeah. Don't listen to us. Listen to Mike the Mailman.
Right.
3 seed Wisconsin versus number 14 Colgate. A brand of toothpaste. I've got the Badgers.
The Badgers also?
Yep.
4 out of 5 dentists are wrong. Wisconsin moves on.
The 7-10 in the Midwest, the Trojans of USC versus the Hurricanes of Miami. Mike the Mailman, you have
the Trojans. Yep.
Might pick any upsets? You didn't pick any upsets. I got Miami beating USC.
That one's going to be close. I think that's almost
again. But I go back to how good is the Pac-12? I just told you.
Well, I'm going to take SC, but I didn't feel great about that one. I would not be surprised if Miami pulls that upset. And here's a team that I know he's kind of a scumbag, but like I've always sort of liked Bruce Pearl. So, like, these poor. Just only once or twice. These Auburn fans, they've been kind of kicked around a lot over the last couple of months. It's been a rough run since the football season ended. If you're an Auburn fan, so it would be nice to see something happen for the stepchild, the little brother down there in Alabama. I've got Auburn.
I've done Auburn also. Yep.
Okay.
Auburn.
Give me your Sweet 16 in the Midwest region, dude.
Starting at the top, Kansas upsetting Creighton, or Kansas beating Creighton, excuse me.
They're upsetting.
Not upsetting, but Kansas beating Creighton up pretty good. Iowa beating Providence. Iowa State losing to Wisconsin.
Okay.
And Auburn thrashing the Hurricanes of Miami.
You and I have the exact same Sweet 16.
There we go.
Kansas winning. Iowa winning.
Yep.
I took Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I took Auburn.
Okay, so that's the only region that we've been exactly the same, all three of us, on the Sweet 16.
There's always one region that shatters your first. This could be the one.
So, Mike, this is the one you should go the complete opposite direction. Give me your 2 Elite 8 teams and who comes out to represent the region.
I have Kansas and Auburn. Arizona.
Okay. Goon, what about you?
Iowa upsetting Kansas.
Oh!
And then Iowa upsetting Auburn for Iowa to go to the Final Four. I'm riding the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Four.
I knew you guys weren't. Just took it out there, dumped it out there.
They're nice. I think
What is the play on this? What's our bet?
We didn't bet anything last year. If I would have known that we were betting, I would have put a little more effort into it.
All right.
What do we bet?
And I have Kansas versus Auburn coming out. I don't know. You figure it out. Make a proposal.
5,000-10,000 each.
Pennies? Yeah, sure. Okay, so just to review, thanks anybody who sat and listened to this nonsense.
You have to introduce the winner as the winner of the bracket ontology and master of the Final Four.
That works.
For 1 year.
It's fine. It's a low bar on this show.
Very low bar.
Yeah, you can perform very
I don't mind
poorly
if
and still win that
it's
time.
okay, you and me. It's just we gotta be, Mike.
Yeah, for sure.
So for people out there who are listening, Mike does not have many upsets. You're going to go with the very.
I feel like there's so much parity this year that the upsets don't mean as much, right? Because all the teams are so clustered together. The seedings, it's like, well, whatever. It's
We're going to have two 16 seeds advance, two 13s, all four 12s.
I have 2 1s and 2 2s in my Final Four. I have Kentucky versus Gonzaga and Arizona versus Auburn. And I have Kentucky and Arizona in the final with Arizona winning.
I'm just dominant with Tennessee, Iowa.
My Final Four was Texas Tech, Purdue.
I knew you were going to take Purdue to the Final Four.
Arizona and Kansas. Purdue and Arizona, and I took Arizona. I like Arizona. Yep.
Yeah, you and I are both in on Arizona, but you have Purdue all the way to the championship game.
You got Purdue? You have Purdue? Arizona?
Yeah.
Who's you?
Same. Yeah.
I got Gonzaga running it.
Yeah, before we get there, just to talk about Purdue for a second. They absolutely have the coaching and the talent to go to the Final Four and play into the championship game. But look, I don't know that it really matters, but the character of that school is they always find some way to fall flat on their face. Do you know how many Final Four appearances Purdue has in school history, Mike the Mailman?
0.
Yeah, 1 fewer than your Penn State Nittany Lions. Yes. So if your prediction comes true and they make the Final Four, the first time it's ever happened, years and years of success in basketball, never made one Final Four. So I just don't see it.
Jim Katie had a full head of hair.
Actually, it was his own hair.
It wasn't his comb over either.
Correct.
Isn't that who were playing football this year first?
Yes.
Correct.
At Purdue,
Yes.
we opened on the road again. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's an L, by the way. 0-1.
Oh my God.
Okay, Goon. So you said you've got Gonzaga winning it all?
I got Gonzaga beating Tennessee in the final.
Okay.
When I saw Tennessee the other day, they made Kentucky just looked like non-existent out there. They really did. That said a lot because Kentucky can play, man.
I will tell you, the right side of the bracket has two matchups I would love to see. Michigan, Ohio State. But if we can't have Michigan, Ohio State, if Tennessee advances, wouldn't it be great if somehow you could have a Final Four game between Tennessee and Auburn, so Bruce Pearl has to face Tennessee? That would be incredible. God, for the right to go to the championship game? Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it's going to happen. I like Arizona a lot, but that would be incredible. Tennessee, Auburn. Now I know what I'm absolutely rooting for. One of the best weekends in sports. I am excited to hear when Ironhead gets back next week. I'm sure he'll talk about the wrestling. That's all well and good. But I'm really stoked up to what he thinks about Mitchell Trubisky leading the Pittsburgh Steelers next season.
I love the move. I mean, I'm an anti-Steeler fan person, but I don't know. I would like to see Trubisky get a fair shake. It's like he's almost like
can anybody
like
tell
David
me
Carr.
Why is everybody
got absolutely murdered?
Why is everybody so super sympathetic to Mitch Trubisky versus like any other first round?
I just think the Bears were just horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. Terrible.
But they went to the playoffs. Right? They lost to BDN.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, it's not – I personally, if I'm a Steelers fan, I'd have much rather had Garoppolo over Trubisky. I mean, how much money is different? I mean, Garoppolo's got that whopper of a contract he signed as a free agent.
Yeah.
He ain't going to make that much again.
I think the difference is that you gave nothing up to get Trubisky, whereas you would have had to trade for Garoppolo.
When Tom Brady goes to San Francisco, they're going to get rid of him pretty quick.
I do have one basketball question. We're talking about maybe betting. I think a better bet would be how much time we're going to watch the review session. Each team gets
take the over. That's all
out of 800 reviews.
It's our world now. We need instant gratification. We want the answers right now. Fix it now. It's ridiculous. But I mean, this is I'm a sports junkie. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, this is one of the big weekends of the year.
Can't wait.
I always say I love Masters Sunday. I love Championship Sunday of the two NFC and AFC title games. And the opening weekend. Question. My brother asked me this question. How many guys do you think sign up for their vasectomies around this time? It's pretty funny, actually. It's like 70% of guys who do it now.
They can get the recovery period?
Yeah, they get 2 days off. And leave me alone. Leave your dad alone. He's hurting downstairs. He's got a bag of peas on his dingles. And then somebody says, well, between that and Masters weekend, it's like 85% of the vasectomies that happen in this country happen those 2 weekends.
Is that true?
I don't know, but it sounded pretty good at the time.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
Would you not? I mean, you didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't have to do it. So if you wanted the weekend off and, leave me alone, I'm daddy's hurting. You have 4 days to recover.
If you don't have the type of home life where you can't just take 2 days, like you got to have elective surgery in order to get 2 days off, like there might be some bigger issues brewing.
There's a lot of people with issues out there, buddy. We're not as happy as me and you in the married world, buddy.
Well, okay, that clearly shows we've run out of gas on this show. But anyway, thanks so much.
Well, you guys are talking about it. I won't be here Thursday. I'll get my prediction on the wrestling.
On wrestling, yeah, go ahead.
I got us. We're going to take it. We really do. I mean,
that's a bold
prediction. Not a bold prediction. I mean, it is. I have that feeling that, Kale is an elite coach. And, again, I go back to the Big Tens, and it's like he's talking to all 9 of those guys that are wrestling. He's going to say it was one match that cost us a Big Ten ring. One match.
Yeah.
If one match was different, and any one of you, not just nobody got singled out. Any one of you could have got another 2 points. I just think those guys are going to come out there just hanging and banging, and Brooks is going to be out for blood, in my opinion.
I think so too. I think so too.
I hope he doesn't over wrestle trying to just win it.
Yeah.
Right in the first match. But I am really, really looking forward to this weekend. I leave tomorrow morning for it. It's one of the weekends I enjoy watching the Nationals out there. And I don't know much about wrestling, but I do know it's fun out there.
He's Kale's just one of those coaches. He knows how to get the most out of his guys to cut your heart out at the right time. Like, you bet against him, you're an absolute fool.
It's not about the Big Ten, it's about the national championship. He's always said it. He gears for the national championship.
Yep. The other thing is that I want to wish the Pagula people good luck this weekend with the women's Final Four up here.
Yeah.
Alan sent me a couple pictures of center ice, and it looks beautiful.
Tickets at GoPSGSports.com.
Very nice. We'll talk about wrestling next week and basketball next week, but this is a fun time of year. Mike, I'll let that filled out before I leave here because I don't trust. Well, I guess we do have documentation of his picks.
Documentation.
He needs to be sitting there next Tuesday. Oh, I had them. I had them.
I like the last one. Wrestle till your seats.
Yeah, right. Yep.
That's great. That's a great analogy. And I just enjoy the weekend. I got some other guys that had never been there before who are going with us, so they're actually looking forward to it. I'm not the new guy anymore. Like I said, they're telling me this is what you expect. This is how much fun it is. And, you guys have been to enough wrestling matches. It's actually really, really funny. There's people screaming. And when you're at the Nationals, you have like 55 different schools up there screaming, and then
it's a different mindset. The crowd.
I'm interested to see the locals. I mean, there'll be a pro-Michigan crowd out there. I mean, I know a lot of the universities have their own seating, but a lot of the locals will be there. They're going to be rooting for Michigan. It's just like when we were in Cleveland. Predominantly, the whole crowd was Ohio State. So we're going out there. Michigan is coming off of a Big Ten title, and they're wrestling in Detroit, 25 minutes from their university. So
I think Iowa will be the loudest crowd.
Because they're the biggest tools. For as much as I love Iowa people, I don't like their wrestling fans. You had an issue with them a couple of years ago, right? This ain't gonna happen during wrestling season.
Yeah, it's not really an issue. It's just like even during the football game, football Saturday, your fans were already thinking about wrestling.
I would tell you my Indiana story. How one-track mind they are about one sport.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but go ahead.
And it just comes up because we're talking about Houston and Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah.
So I'm out there with Spider, and I helped him out. Like I would go out early if there's get the locker room set up. And this is when I was coaching. And I went out there with him, and we had this locker room kind of talking to us. And Spider was like, "Hey, so what's going on? How's the coach doing? Is everything all right with him? How are you guys handling with the coach?" Because that was when their coach had brain cancer. And he was dying, and he ended up dying from it. But the guys that were working for Illinois football, Indiana football,
you have a football coach with brain cancer.
And we're talking about how you guys doing with the coach.
How's the deal with your coach?
What's going on with your coach? What do you guys feel? And the guy says, "Well, you know what? We knew it going in. You it was sort of expected. You play a fire, you're going to get it." And we're like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Like, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying that. So it took me about 5 minutes, and then Spider was completely perplexed. And then I pulled Spider aside. I said, "They're talking about the basketball coach in Kelvin Sampson." And then when he brought that baggage to Indiana, and they have a football team that these guys worked for the football team, and all they were talking about, all their thought process was basketball. That's unbelievable to me. Well, that's how Iowa. I mean, that's how one-track minded, and it's about Iowa wrestling, and nothing else matters.
Well, the Big Ten has a chance to redeem itself
after last
in the eyes of the nation this weekend and this tournament.
I agree,
and I think we're going to do it. You guys both had a Big Ten team in the Final Four.
If they all play well, I think they can make a dent in this. And I think the SEC is going to come out being the one that's overrated.
Well, I would rather see it than not. I'll put it that way. Even though you have an SEC team in the front.
You have Michigan going to the Sweet 16, so I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, fair. So long, everybody. Line Country Kia, Goon and Ironhead show. Come out and check us out again. And come on out to
basketball,
Quaker Steak Lube.
It's amazing.
It's the place to watch the games, place to watch the wrestling. Enjoy the delicious wings and great sauces. Pleasure having you with us. For Goon and Mike the Mailman, take care of yourselves anytime. We are.
Best 2 out of 3?
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired new Kia Forte.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Hey, look at these two troublemakers.
Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car, is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me park it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Park. Even Bruiser can park it. Just hit the clicker. I can park it anywhere.
Beaver Stadium?
Parked it.
Even the Jordan Center?
Parked it.
Even Medlar Field?
Even Bruiser parked it.
Hey, you can't park there.
He's got Smart Park!
Wicked smart.